Utah's native voice. And I'm once again sitting with Jason Browning with Academy Mortgage, and I'm wanting to get kind of an update of the state of the financial market for the fall of 2018, because we've seen already so many changes in interest rates. I don't think it's a matter of if, but when.
Right.
And so you'll have to give me an update on that. We've already seen it go up, gosh, a full, 1.5 since this time last year.
That is correct. So, the Fed chairman, said that our economy is basically firing on all cylinders right now. And they also stated earlier in the year that they were going to have 3 rate increases this year.
Okay.
So we basically had 2 of those already. That's what you're seeing.
Yeah.
And the bond market, which is what's traded, mortgage bonds is what's traded to kind of dictate what interest rates are going to be, is battling what's going on in the stock market.
Okay.
And like this morning, the stock market opened up quite a bit higher than it did yesterday, and rates are already going up, just like a seesaw.
Yeah.
Stock market's up, bonds are down, rates are going to go up.
Basically, rates change every day, don't they?
They change every minute.
Okay.
And every day. Yeah,
so
they really
so
do.
I could be starting with you this morning, and by this afternoon, that rate's changed.
Yes, down. It's going
Wow.
down.
Wow. Okay. All right. I
Yes,
assumed it was
so-
a one-time-a-day change.
Yeah, usually we get an update throughout the day, or maybe a couple times a day.
Uh-huh.
But usually, I have alerts set up that if something moves drastically either way, I can reach out to my clients and say it's a good time to lock or maybe not.
Yeah.
So you really want to keep a pulse on what's going on there for sure.
Okay. Good to know.
But
All right.
they say it's going to continue to rise throughout the rest of this year. There's going to be one more hike in the interest rates. They say. And again, it's really just about what's going on with the economy. And if it looks like we're doing well and we're able to spend the money, then the rate should go up. But again, maybe not dramatically, but maybe anywhere between 1/8 to 1/4 of a point, give or take. I'd hate to try to pin that down, but
I don't know if you can answer this just off the top of your head, so I don't want to throw you on this one, but I'm curious for a point from, say, a 4% to a 5%, which we saw happen this year. How much more earnings does someone have to have, or qualification, or is there a benchmark for each half a point of what it knocks someone out of the market?
It usually wouldn't knock someone out of the market per se.
Mm-hmm.
Again, a lot of that's going to depend on the size of a home that they're wanting to purchase,
Right.
and how much they're going to finance. So if they're
Good
going to
point.
finance quite a bit, then
Right.
that half a point could necessarily not disqualify them, but take them out of what they want to spend. So that's why it's very important for us to find out what your budget is. Like what's not the size of the home, but what are you wanting to spend? Because then we can get creative and get there to that dollar amount, as opposed to buying your $300,000 house.
So I could come to you and say, Jason, I want my payments to not be more than $2,000 a month.
That's correct.
And you can then work backwards for me.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's go back to state of the. I got you completely off topic there,
Oh,
but
no worries.
I'll do that to you all the
That's
time.
okay. That's okay. That's what I'm here for. But really, it's like you mentioned earlier. It moves not only day to day, but minute to minute, and it's just very important to keep a pulse on that, and to make sure that you're having these strategy calls as if what happens here, what do we do,
Right.
and you just really want to make sure that you have a focus on that, and make sure that knowing that rates are important, but they're really irrelevant until you have a property to purchase.
Right.
So just kind of keep along with it. Make sure that it fits your budget as they do change, because you don't want to think you're going to spend $2,000,
Right.
and now that $2,000 is now $2,300.
Right.
It may say, well, I'm not buying that home. I have to go down to a lesser purchase price or something like that.
Right. So it's you think finding a lender is a simple matter of, let's find someone that's going to loan me the money, period, and end of story. But that's such a small beginning. If you don't have a lender that keeps an eye on those kind of things and can help counsel you through this whole process, it's not a simple matter of, I want to buy a house and I need some money. It doesn't stop there. It's kind of like finding a realtor who's going to help you understand why this neighborhood or why that neighborhood, or the nuances of a market is so important. And if you don't have someone to both advise you as well as loan you the money, you're going to be out there kind of on your own trying to navigate this process, and it's a difficult process. This is not for the faint of heart to get a loan anymore.
You're really doing yourself a disservice if you're not dealing with a quality individual like yourself on the real estate side, and as a lender as well.
Yeah, no, I see that all the time, and I really try to counsel my clients. It's so important who you associate with on getting this loan. It's not an easy thing to do anymore, and there's a lot of little things that go into it that we just don't even think about.
That is correct.
I know, off topic again. I'm really good at
No,
this.
I mean,
so now tell me what else am I missing here.
I think that's really going to narrow it down. I mean, kind of the big movers from a week to week standpoint are, the jobless claims,
Right.
things like that.
Well, and that'll go up because it's seasonal. So we're
That's
going
right.
to see jobs go up
That's right.
exponentially. And always so weird to me that people are shocked in January when the job market dropped. I'm like, all those seasonal people that got hired in October to get prepared for Christmas, especially in retail, all go away.
That's right.
It's just, it's like, why should that be shocking to anybody?
Exactly.
You know?
It's par for the course.
It
and,
is.
a couple other things to pay attention to, what's happening globally.
Yes.
That usually has an indication on what's going to happen in our markets as well. And that's usually we'll see something happening before the market even opens. You'll
Right.
say that, hey, we went to bed last night, everything was fine. Something happens, overseas, and we wake up to some volatility. So it's just making sure that you're navigating that and then having a plan of attack or a preemptive plan. So
Right. I don't think people realize globally our imports and exports are what's a huge portion of that. And when that gets stopped or slowed down for any reason, it kind of trickles down to, again, the jobless, the manufacturing and everything else. It's kind of one throw, stone's throw makes this big ripple that we don't even think about as we go to sleep at night and the other markets open.
That's very true. And again, I would say rates are still, even though they've gone up in the last year
Right,
or 2 years, they're
so
still
low.
relative. I mean, if you start looking at our grandparents when they were buying their first home, their rates were 13, 14, 18%.
I
things of that
started
nature.
in business and rates were 19% when I
So-
became a realtor. And so it was nothing for me to go, well, okay, 19%, it is what it is.
Yeah, you just pay it. So
Exactly.
people are still going to go after the American dream of owning a home, and again, just making sure that you have the planning in place to meet your budget, have that plan, and then execute on it.
I think the main thing for people, and I saw it last year when the market got so difficult for our buyers to find a house, they just got frustrated and got out of the market. But the reality is rates have gone up a whole point now, and prices have gone up,
Yes.
and it's really priced some of them completely out of the market.
Absolutely.
So the cost of waiting is really pretty significant right
It
now.
absolutely
It's,
is.
You know,
It
we
absolutely
know rates are not going to go back down.
Right.
They're not, and so they're only going to go one way, and it's just sooner rather than later is kind of the point here if you're thinking about homeownership.
Well, and now the inventory is back, right?
Absolutely.
We're sitting at a good inventory
Absolutely.
place, and now with rates being again they're not jumping dramatically daily.
No.
So strike while the iron's hot.
Yeah, exactly.
So, in my opinion.
All right. Well, thanks so much for all that information, and thanks for listening. You can find us on all the social medias and at our DallasNative.com site.